Hello there. This is Dr. Janice R. Love, the founder and CEO of Pearls Perfected Institute. And welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Have you ever felt like you wanted to kind of reinvent yourself? Maybe the words that you have been using to describe yourself don't quite fit who God created you to be. Stay tuned. We're going to have a conversation with Winnie Alexander, who is a transformational coach, especially for women, to help you to rewrite your own narrative. So stay tuned. I am going to go ahead and introduce our guest to you today. So, remember, we are Pearls Perfected Institute, where we are transforming mental health and wellness professionals into experts with that user friendly course building technology that keeps clients learning long after their sessions, meaning you have your very own client learning portal. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to be doing here today. So, as always, this is Asking for a Sister Friend, and we stream every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Time right here. So, you can usually find me here on Sunday nights. And today, we are going to be speaking with Winnie Alexander about rewriting your own narrative. And let me tell you a little bit about our guest, Winnie Alexander. She is an L&D well, L&D. I'm in L&D. I was in L&D too, so I say L&D. But she is a learning and development manager, and she's been doing that for well over 15 years. She's a facilitator. She does professional development, and she is a certified transformative coach and a certified master trainer and transformational coach. That's a long word, Winnie. But she is also the author of like five journals. She loves coaching. She loves doing leadership training and consulting. She is the owner of My Seven Words, and I can't wait till you hear the story about this. She lives in Ellicott City, Maryland, one of my favorite areas to be in. And she serves clients not only throughout the United States, but also in Puerto Rico. So, welcome to the stage, everybody, Winnie Alexander.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I am so excited you're here. I have so much enjoyed the conversations that we have had about the amazing things you're doing as far as helping women to really kind of transform their lives from where they are at point A to point B. So
Yeah.
I would love to hear your story because again, everybody that comes on here, there's a story behind what they do. So I would love to hear your story about what led you to this place, Winnie.
Wow. Okay. So you are right. I am a learning and development trainer, manager, etc. I've been doing all of that for quite some time. Totally enjoy it. I started out in retail and as a manager, and that's where I got the bug and love of training. And from there, it just kept escalating. And I'm like, I want to do this full time. I've also done a lot of customer service training in airports. I did that for about 8 years and totally enjoyed it. Met so many different people from all over the world. Love, love, love that. And then I started working for a nonprofit. And with that nonprofit, I also facilitated administrative assistant training lots and lots of awesome stories out of that. Just to see lives being transformed just does my heart well.
Wow, so you started out in retail. What area of retail were you in?
So I was in management. I
Okay.
started out in like department stores, and then from there went to specialty stores. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so at that time you were teaching individuals how to do customer service well. What how did you start training individuals there?
Oh, wow. So I was working for Brooks Brothers, actually,
Okay.
managing that store. And I was asked if I wanted to be a district trainer for my district. And I was like, oh my God, sure. This should be fun, quote unquote. And
Uh-huh.
I went to New York and I got my training there and the Brooks Brothers there and came back to Maryland. I was on the Eastern Shore at the time. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. This is what I need to do for forever. I want to do this full time, etc. Well, God had another plan.
Mhm.
I was still doing the training, and I just started perfecting what my love and my passion was. And I was kind of all over the United States at that time, and it just kept going and going and going. I mean, the love and the excitement was there. Then I started working. I got out of retail and went into the airports. Actually,
Mhm.
met a woman who had a company, and they did customer service training in airports, and
Mm.
all the way from Boston down to Miami and as far over as Houston. I went in and I would train the concessionaires on customer service, management, as well as frontline. And it was a blast because, again, meeting different people from all over and just crafting the way that I could do it. At first, I was very, I don't want to say shy, but very
Mhm.
nervous,
Okay.
and got better at it, just kept on going and got better at it.
Yeah, especially when you're in the training and development field or learning and development field, you start honing in on your skills, and
Yes.
it is enjoyable. I think it's something so wonderful about when somebody gets it.
Yes.
Whatever you're training, they get it,
Yes.
and they begin to behave differently. I mean, it's
Mhm.
obviously behavior change that we're seeking in the first place, or
Absolutely.
just sometimes it's just knowledge, right? But the behavior change is the part that is so awesome to see someone go from here to there. So you talk about being a transformative coach. Tell us
Mhm.
what a transformative coach does.
Sure, sure. You have the people mean everything. The people that are in your audience, it means everything to you, the trainer, which means that
Mhm.
you are there to make a difference. You want them to walk away saying, wow, that was an awesome training. I totally loved it. I learned X, Y, and Z. So that's always been my goal. So
Mhm.
as I've gotten better, I'm able to tweak it more and more, and it just happens naturally. I don't like to always just like hold a piece of paper or read from the script. I study the night before and then I just flow with it. And I can tell you there have been times where what I thought was going to happen didn't happen. So as a professional trainer, you got to know when to pivot.
Exactly. Trust me, I have been there, done it. So
Yes.
you do a lot of customer service training as well as leadership. Which do you kind of prefer? Or do
So
you
now
have
I'm
a preference?
into it's more professional development now,
Okay. All right.
as opposed to just the customer service. I started
Okay.
off with customer service, and now I'm doing more of the professional development training. And I love it because I see so many people, specifically a lot of younger women who might have those jobs that are just really easy to find that they don't really go anywhere, but then when they're able to understand what it means to be professional and how to present yourself and the things that you need to say and what you need to do, that's the transformative part of it.
Okay. So tell me about a typical client that you might have. What is she currently? Is she looking for a job? Is she already in a job and maybe feels stuck, feeling like she doesn't have anywhere to go from there? Who
Mhm.
is your typical client?
Wow. So it's not as specific as
Okay.
that because I've had the young women who are just starting out. I've had the managers who are or people that are new managers. I've had
Hmm.
seasoned managers as well, and just meeting people where they are and being
Okay.
able to understand where they are and being able to walk them through whatever situation they seem to be in that they can't get past.
Okay. So let's say I have a daughter who is wanting to a different life. She's in retail and she wants to do something different. what kinds of things should she be doing to begin to make that shift or to start rewriting her own narrative?
Yes, absolutely. So I was that daughter
Okay.
at one time, and I knew that retail wasn't my end, and I
Mhm.
needed to start searching for my next. And what I did, it just so happens that I found my next while I was in retail, and then I was able to transition out of that. But for someone who is in it and they just need to or want to get out of it, I would say, go to networking events, start talking to people, change that narrative in a way that where you see yourself, that's what you start talk. That's what you emulate. That's what you want to come out. So for instance, let's just say I go to a networking event and I say, yes, I work in retail. However, I'm able to, teach my coworkers customer service, or if I'm a manager, I talk about customer service. When I'm given a mini training, things like
Mhm.
that. So as you see yourself, start talking about that, start sharing that. And it's kind of that way of, as what they call today, manifesting what you want.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, when some young women, especially those maybe who have maybe not gone to college and maybe haven't really kind of charted out. They came out of high school and they know they have to get a job. They know they need to work. Oftentimes, things like retail are a little easier to find because they're needing. And so how can someone really get the confidence really
Mhm.
to break out of that if they desire to do something else? Where does that confidence come from? Who can help them with that?
Well, when I was working for the nonprofit, we actually had an administrative assistant training. And
Mm.
so, one of the things that I insisted on doing for the first 2 weeks of this particular training is to start talking about professional development, because I think that that's something that when you come out of high school, you don't really know what that means.
Mhm.
So there are lots of organizations who do offer that. I know as My Seven Words, I offer professional development training. So it's those things on how to present yourself, how to interview, what your resume looks like, how to search for jobs, um, being able to talk to an employer, all of those things, how to give the right handshake, look people
Mhm.
in the eye, show confidence, even though inside you're like jelly.
Right.
But you got to put on that face, as they say.
Now you just threw out something that you didn't tell us about. My
Uh-oh.
seven words. Tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that. What is my seven words and where did that come from?
My seven words. Okay, my seven words. This is how I say it. It was birthed in Miami, Florida, Hilton Hotel, January 1st, 2011. And I was actually working in the airport at the time and finished my shift. And I went back to my hotel room and I fell asleep. And in that between where you're asleep and awake, I felt God saying to me, my seven words: a company by women for women. And I was
Mm.
like, you know how you're like, what did I hear? What is this? So I kind of woke myself up and I wrote it down on a piece of paper. And it just so happened that probably a couple months later, I had this pledge, and I wrote this down because I wanted to share it. It was called My Getting the Life I Deserve Pledge.
Mm.
So I wrote I wrote my seven words, start a web business, my7words.com. And I tucked it in a book, right? So I put it away. Still, life was still lifing, as they say.
Mhm.
Years had passed, and I'm going to say 4 years ago, I was cleaning out my garage and going through some stuff. And lo and behold, I found this pledge where I wrote. And at this time in my life, it was so I needed that. And God, of course, knew that I needed that. And I just started crying. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot all about this. I couldn't believe that it just was not in, I didn't remember. And so when I pulled it out and I read it, I said, you know what, Lord, obviously you wanted me to see this now. So I'm going to start on this. And that's what I did. In 2021, in September 2021, I started getting things together, putting together my LLC for My 7 Words.
Wonderful. So now that you do consulting for businesses and that kind of thing, but again, you have your own business, My 7 Words, that helps women to make this transformation.
Yes.
And you talk about some of the things that you're doing. So tell me about a success story for a woman who has come through My 7 Words.
Sure. I'm going to give you a little bit of a twist
Okay.
because My 7 Words is almost like it's like kind of the way that I um, help people transform. So it's
Okay.
something that's kind of always been in my heart, and it's
Mhm.
kind of what I've been using all along. And I will say that as I how do I say this? As I was training the administrative assistants
Mhm.
to be, I always thought of My 7 Words and how am I going to talk to this person, this young woman? What is going to make her life transform? And so I
Mm.
was very real. I'm like, we have to change the narrative. It's no more negativity. Oh, I can't, I won't, I this, no. And any one of them that were in my class will tell you what Miss Winnie says goes. She means what she says. And I can say that just coming in the door, so many different instances where we had women who were just like, this is my last chance. I really want to do better. And my biggest success, and I always tell her this, and she's a PK.
Mhm.
She works for a Biden appointee. So
Hmm.
she went from here to there, all the way to the White House. And I'm
Wow.
so very proud of her. And she, among many others, say, if it wasn't for you, Miss Winnie. And there were times when we had to have the come to Jesus meeting, like, okay,
Mhm.
let's step out. We need to talk about this because I feel that you're pulling away or that things are hard at home or you just need some affirmation. And that was the way that's the way I operate. The way I operate.
When I think about this generation of young women,
Mhm.
they have, I mean, they have at their disposal so much more than we had when we were coming
Absolutely.
through.
Yeah.
But yet I see there being more challenges from a self-esteem perspective.
Mhm.
What are you seeing out there in the field?
Same exact thing. Social media, as we know, is just crazy. People use AI, and you think, oh wow, they look so perfect. I love documentaries, so I can't tell you how many that I've seen where you see the behind the scenes of things, and I think that can easily get in your head, especially if you're not at a level where you're confident about who you are and
Mhm.
whose you are. So, I always felt like it was my duty to make sure that not only the women, but I had guys that were in my class as well, but that when they walked away, that they were confident in who they were and what they could do. So that, I mean, I can't tell you how many graduations that I tears.
Mhm.
Tears because to remember when and to see now, it's just amazing. And even, I have uh, graduates from like years ago who still reach out and say, hi, Miss Winnie, this is what I'm doing now. I bought my house. I got a car. I got a bigger apartment. I got promotions. Like it just does my heart so good. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I love how God placed this idea in your spirit,
Yes.
and you were listening enough to write it down,
Yes.
and
Make
and
it
then
plain.
and then you in a sense waited on God. Did that revelation frighten you? What did that feel like when you first got the revelation? Did it frighten you? Did it inspire you? What how were you feeling at the time?
I was It didn't frighten me. I was
Mhm.
kind of excited because before My Seven Words, I had another company that I actually started where I was doing organizations for people. So I would go into their home and their closets and organize and all of that. So
Mhm.
I've been doing that for a while. And it's funny because my daughter says, Mom, you've always been an entrepreneur at heart. You've had different, I'm like, really? I didn't know you were watching me that that well. She's like, yes, yes. But it didn't frighten me. I was like, okay, I can do this. Like, yeah. And I
Mhm.
just got really excited about it because I love giving back and I love when I can make a difference, a positive difference in someone's life, whether they're old or young.
Mhm. So we have talked about younger women. Let's talk about a woman who is wanting to, in a sense, reinvent herself or
Mhm,
rewrite her narrative. What
mhm,
kinds of things are you seeing from women who are maybe in 40 to 50 and up?
mhm. Well, it's very interesting because as our classes grew, we did have a few classes that were 55 plus.
Mhm.
I did facilitate one, and it was just very interesting because the dynamic is different. Even though I'm in the same age range,
Mhm.
I feel like my mindset is not old. My mindset is young. And I
Mhm.
always feel like no matter how old you are, keep learning because that keeps you young and it keeps you relevant so that you understand what's going on. And I always tell that to my aunties as well. But I it's so funny because I'm going to tell you about a couple of weeks ago, God put in my spirit to talk to women who are 55 plus. And so
Mm.
I kind of want to introduce um, a new division or platform for My Seven Words. I'm
Oh,
going to say
tell me about it.
movement. Yes, yes. And it's actually called the 3Ds Reimagined. And these are the 3Ds
Okay.
for 55 plus women, a journey to finding you, cultivating a growth mindset after, and the 3Ds are death, divorce, and done.
Ooh, Winnie.
Let me drop the mic right there.
Okay, okay, Winnie. All right, you got to tell me about this, okay? All right, so this is for this is to facilitate growth and in women 55 and over
Haven't
who
over.
may have gone through something. So we're talking about, death comes at several different levels around that age, whether it's a parent, whether
Right.
it is someone you're in a relationship with, could even be a sibling.
Mhm.
So okay, come on, girl, give me some more information about this because
So
this is good.
I'm still working on the concept, but
Uh-huh.
I wanted to roll it out on your show.
Okay.
And I would love for people to go to my7words.com and at least in September, because it'll be ready. I'm going to roll it out that first week of September. It's going to be on there. But yeah, I want to do consultations as well as coaching, one-on-one coaching, and eventually just have group sessions where
Mhm.
women can support one another because I've been through the death, I've been through the divorce, and I've been through the just done.
Girl, you got to spill the tea here now. You threw out the big words. I mean, a divorce and done. Okay.
Yes,
I
yes,
have heard done more in the last, I guess, 5 years than I've
yes.
ever heard coming from women. There was that, what was that song out there, when a woman's fed up and nothing you can do about it or something? What, I can't even remember what it was. But
Yeah.
tell me what's going on with this done thing with women. What is going on?
When you look back at not even our parents, I want to go to our grandparents and just how they were as a couple and what they did and how life was back then. It's so not like that. And we think it's just the young kids that get caught up in social media and all that. It's people our age too.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
things get all twisted and turned and it gets to a point where you're like, you know what? Mm-mm, no, I'm worthy. of more. Yeah,
Mm,
I don't know. Mm-mm. That's the done part. I don't
wow.
need to be cheated on. I don't need to be, you know what I'm saying? You know where I'm going. And
Yeah.
yes,
So sometimes we give away our self-worth sometimes,
we do.
um in the for the sake of love, for the sake of whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Because I think about when I was younger, my dream was to be married, to have a family, to live
Mhm.
happily ever after in that big old house with you know and life just didn't turn out that way.
Right.
So when we sometimes when we get into those situations where we get to the done part, we think that's the end, that we can't reclaim who we are, that we can't come back to the person that God created us to be.
Mhm.
So talk a little bit more about this, because I'm very intrigued
Sure,
by this.
sure, sure.
So you're going to be coaching women. What are you going to be doing? Tell me a little bit. I don't know if
Consultations.
you have it all out,
I'm
but
still working through it, but
okay, okay.
consultations, coaching, and group
Hmm.
sessions. Because there,
Ooh,
when we have group sessions, we can support one another as well.
I
But
love
it's
it.
very interesting because I was talking to a friend of mine a couple weeks ago, and she's a woman who's in her 60s and had experienced death quite a few
Hmm.
years ago of her husband, but she still is mourning him. And I said, you know what? There is no time limit on
Right.
mourning. Don't let anybody put you in that box and say, oh, you can only mourn this amount of time. And it's okay. But in addition to that, don't forget who you are. It's your
Mm.
time to rediscover and reimagine who you are. And you're not that woman 20 years ago, 10 years ago. You're brand new. So what do you want to do? What's special about you? Let's discover what that is. Who do you want people to see you as? You know? So that's
That-
exciting to me. I let me tell you something. I have an aunt, love her dearly, dearly. And I'm always, Auntie, come on now. Let's get
mhm.
this together because you are fabulous. You're this, you're that. I mean, I give her all the accolades and pumping her up. And she always says, dear heart, I love you so much because you always, always give me the positive and you always make me feel better. And I
And
love that.
that's what sisters do. I mean, that's what this show is
Yeah,
all about, where
yeah,
sisters can come and again see somebody who has walked their journey, somebody who has walked in their shoes, and how they have risen above that, and now they are giving back
yes.
to others. And I love that. I mean, when I first met you and you started telling me some of the things you were doing, I just got so excited about that, again, because you are doing exactly what God created you to do. And
Absolutely.
because you have stepped out on faith and done that, then he is using you to bless other people. I have been stuck on the scripture from 2 Corinthians 1 and 4, where it talks about that we have God gave us the grace and gave us the help that we needed in our time of trouble, so that we would be able to help somebody else
Absolutely.
in their time of trouble. And I love that, the fact that you are doing that. And especially for those who are in my age group, 60 and over, then
Mhm.
it brings such joy for a woman to just see her beauty, to see again who she is, and she's not defining herself based on somebody else, but
Absolutely.
truly on who God has created her to be. Girl, you can get me talking for a long time about this, but I just love that. So we did show everybody your website, but let's tell people how they can get in touch with you.
Sure.
um all right. So your website, you want to tell them what that is?
My7words.com.
All right.
www.my7words.com.
All
Yes.
right. And then easy to remember. Very easy to
Very
remember.
easy. And seven
And
with the number seven.
and you got to tell me one more thing about that in a second, but you could, and if they want to email you, they can email you Where?
7words, lc@gmail.com.
Okay, so since you are called My Seven Words, do you ever have women write down 7 words? Help me understand that.
So yes.
Okay.
So first of all, you have to think about how. So some people, let me back up. Some people already know. They're no,
Hmm.
yes, this is who I am, blah blah blah. But it's typically the ones who aren't really sure, who are in a transition.
Hmm.
Uh, maybe they don't have the courage, or
Hmm.
they don't have the confidence.
Hmm.
So when they're in that, it's just like, well, what do you want to be? How do you want to see yourself? And I need you to write that down. And I just want to read something really quick for
Okay.
you. I wanted to make sure that I got across to your audience and they understood when I said my 7 words.
Okay.
I want you to know exactly what I'm talking about here. So, how to change the narrative. All right. So, knowing with my 7 words, people kind of get stuck in old habits, right? And they're afraid of change. But to rewrite, embrace growth, and seek new opportunities daily. Overcome
Mm.
adversity, because a lot of times, sometimes it's, that's what it is. They're victim of
Hmm.
circumstances or struggling to move forward.
Hmm.
So my 7 words rewrite, use different vernacular. I'm a resilient warrior. Okay. I'm turning challenges into strength. It's
Yeah.
about changing the narrative. That's how you rewrite it. You're going to use different words, but think about things that you embody, that you want to be. My 7 words: I am confident, I am strong, I am worthy, I am smart, I'm beautiful, I'm a survivor, and guess what? I am grateful.
I love it. I love it, Winnie. I love it,
Yeah.
girl. I'm just so thankful for divine intervention that we met. We met on LinkedIn.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
I love
and
LinkedIn.
again, I saw some of the things you were doing. I was like, I'm going to contact her because she needs to be part of asking for a sister friend. So we have been here talking for a while. So I know we got to shut this down. But I love again what you are doing, and I think it is so powerful because again, you are helping women to to change those words. So again,
Absolutely.
if they're all about negativity, you're helping to change them into positivity, giving them that self-esteem, and I know there's some spiritual components to it already.
Mhm,
I don't even have
mhm,
to question that
mhm.
because until we understand who we are in God, we
That's
are not going to be able to do anything for anybody else because we do not know who we are. So, girl, keep doing what you're doing.
yes, ma'am.
And so when is this stuff gonna be on your website? In September?
In September, first week in September.
Okay. All
And I have
right.
a question for you. So,
Uh-huh.
what's the number 7 mean spiritually?
It's completion.
You got it.
It is the number of completion, and so yeah, that's the other thing that I knew that when I saw my seven
Mhm.
words, that you definitely had to be a woman of faith
Yes.
because you're not gonna be throwing that out
Mm,
there
no,
if you're not right.
exactly.
Ain't no
Exactly.
lucky number stuff.
No, no,
It's
no.
the
Don't do
yeah.
any of that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. It is all about completion. And
Yes,
and those of you who are watching today, write out your 7 words.
absolutely.
Just write out your 7 words. Put them somewhere where you can see them every day,
Mhm, mhm.
and and start to believe that because
Yeah.
that's what God wants you to believe. So I love it. I love it. So we know how to find you at my7words.com.
Mhm.
And again, she is going to be releasing this new program called what's it called again? Just one more time. I just got to
Reimagine,
hear it.
reimagine. The 3Ds reimagine. Death, divorce, and done.
Girl, I like the way you say done. I can't take it. I love it. In fact, if somebody put in the comment box, they put Done.
I love it.
I
Felicia.
love I love it. And then we had Lisa on talking about her journey, what she went through. And Lord Jesus,
Mm,
God placed her in a place to really help women as well. Anyway, we're going to start shutting this down. But Winnie, thank you so much.
thank
I have a
you.
scripture that I always share. In when I am speaking with my guests. And it is from Proverbs 27:17 from the Good News Translation. And it says, people learn from one another just as iron sharpens iron. And you
Amen.
have definitely, girl, pulled out the tools and sharpened my iron on today. Anything you want to leave with our audience?
Actually, I have a quote,
Okay.
and the quote
Look,
is,
you a trainer at heart, girl. Got your notes.
oh, Lord. Here we go. Here's my quote. Understanding yourself is power. Loving yourself is freedom. Forgiving yourself is peace.
Mm.
Being yourself, your authentic self, is joy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
You're
All right,
welcome.
T, we're going to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining me again. Winnie, thank you so much for being my guest today. And we are going ahead and get on out of here. Everybody, have a blessed week, and we'll see you next time right here, 7 p.m. Central Time, for another Asking for a Sister Friend.